2, 1. Ugh.
Ugh.
Huh?
We're making those faces because we're going to talk about bad
Ugh.
stuff today.
When do we
You ready
ever
to talk about poop?
When do we talk about good stuff on this channel?
True. So tonight, we're going to do a little bit of a sequel episode of sorts to our video game remakes, ports, and remasters episode. But tonight, we're going to exclusively talk about bad ones. In other words, so to answer a question to start us off, what constitutes a bad remake, port, or remaster is pretty subjective, but all in all, a lot of the time these games are not as good as the original, or they don't do enough to be worth being full-on remake in the form of remakes. Like sometimes they don't flesh out the content or the core game enough. Uh, Sometimes they literally don't run as well because they were put on a system and lazily ported, and they don't run as well as the original did. Just myriad of reasons that could be a problem. If a game was under like a certain vision, like there was certain decisions that were made with the presentation, and those are stripped out of the newer release, so the atmosphere or just the game as a whole just doesn't feel quite right. That could be a thing. Uh, so I want to open the floor, and I want to. So Landon, you are a really big fan of Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. A game that starts off by remake. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm going to talk about a game similar to it.
Okay.
But it's a game that is Donkey Kong 94 is a game that like it remakes the original game of Donkey Kong and then expands it by adding a bunch of new content, correct?
These allegations are true.
It does a good job of doing this. You guys want to hear an example of a game that does it bad?
I think that's why you summoned us today. So
yeah, that is what we're here to talk about.
Does anybody know about a PlayStation 1 game simply called Frogger?
Oh
yeah,
Frogger.
This game sold 6 million copies, by the way. I don't know how it managed that. I was one of them.
It's Frogger?
True, it's Frogger. So Frogger for the PS1 is a 3D remake / expansion in the same vein as Donkey Kong 94, where the beginning of the game is literally the original game. And then they like go off into uncharted territory. Unfortunately, this game is ass because I played it before. I honestly, it left the crevices of my mind until today. But it's not a good game because despite the fact that like, you have nice, 3D visuals for the base game, and then there's all this new content, it controls really bad. Like, you know how in like the arcade game, you get a pretty fluid feel for Frogger's movement while you're moving around, and you can kind of zip around the different vehicles, and you get a really good, just kind of like flow. That is not a thing for the PS1 game. It's really slow and janky, and all of that like great control that the arcade original and re-releases that did a good job of porting that are not there, and it's very like Diet Crash Bandicoot 1 style because of the fact that all of this new content is like an on rails just kind of like forward single direction platformer. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I don't know if you guys played it, but me being a PlayStation 1 kid, I was accidentally subjected to this. It happened to me.
I have not played it, but that's a good way to open the conversation.
Yeah.
That's
I have played a Frogger before.
Yeah.
Thankfully not this one, I hope.
Definitely not this one.
Yeah,
I don't know what a PlayStation is.
There's kind of a reason why this game, despite Frogger being a classic, just nobody talks about it anymore. Doesn't matter how well the game did financially, it was not good. It actually The Metacritic average is like 60, which is saying something because games don't
That's
usually
pretty
get
good.
60s.
That's a pretty good score. Like it's above average, right?
For critic averages, not really. We all know that they start on a spectrum of like 5 is the lowest and like 10's the highest. There's no below
Yeah.
50 here.
I mean, we can objectively, yes, on a 100-point scale, 60 is above average, and that is considered some degree of good. But when you exist in the world of video game journalism, anything below an 8 out of 10 is pure dog shit, according to some people. Not me necessarily, but some people.
I'm just gonna quote you on that one when we're writing this one up.
Okay.
And Jack said, "quote
Quote.
dog shit," unquote.
Jack, I want to
what I
hear from
said.
you. Do you have a good example of a bad remake or port or remaster that's really sticking out to you that you want to talk about?
I'm going to start with the classic. We're talking Sonic Genesis on the GBA, baby.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Truly one of the most heinously awful. It's just a port. Like, let's be real. It really is just a port of Sonic 1 onto a GBA cartridge that was so tremendously bad. It like ruins any sense of speed that the original game had, which was already not a ton. It's pretty sparse depending on what level you're playing. But Sonic Genesis suffers from extreme screen crunch, awful frame rate,
Have you played it before?
hit detection. I have. I've played a ROM of it before. I've never bought the game, but I've been morbidly curious enough to play it
torment
myself.
yourself for a little bit.
Yes. It's awful. I only played the first Green Hill act, and that was enough. I'm like, I'm not going to subject myself to more of this.
Fair.
It's like everything that a port should not be.
The soundtrack's
Apparently
also not good at all. Like the way that they ported the soundtrack over is just like I remember in a previous podcast episode we were talking about like aftermarket hardware, and like I got like this shitty aftermarket Genesis that like made all of the music off key. Like it's like that for Sonic Genesis on GBA.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is like it doesn't add up. I
Apparently
don't remember if I played it myself though.
Apparently the reason that it was so shit is because it was actually like built on the Sonic Advance engine, but even that's not like a valid excuse at all, because like fans have literally gone out of their way to remake Sonic 1 using the Sonic Advance engine, and it ends up way better than Sonic Genesis. It really was just like a cheap, absolute bare minimum port that they could possibly muster.
And it sucks that it's one of the first versions of Sonic 1 with a spin dash in it too.
Like it's the one thing, literally the one thing they added that you could say is a positive. Honestly, yeah. But and you know, one of the 3 classics released for Sonic's 15th anniversary.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sonic.
Yeah, almost certainly on some objective level the worst one, I would argue.
I don't know, what were the other 2?
Sonic Riders and Sonic 06.
I mean, Sonic 06 is bad.
I know.
Sonic 06 is bad, but I can find redeeming qualities in Sonic 06 somewhere.
There are good things in Sonic 06. The music is one of them. And that alone puts it above Sonic Genesis.
Have you played Sonic Genesis, Landon?
No, I avoid.
You like to avoid most versions of Sonic 1.
I like to avoid Sonic. I like to avoid just Sonic in general.
Oh,
when I get a chance.
One of the biggest Sonic fans ever tries to avoid Sonic as much as possible.
I wouldn't call myself one of the biggest Sonic fans.
No. I mean, out of the 3 of us, I definitely think Landon is the least Sonic fan. the least of a Sonic fan, I should
Listen,
say.
he's a work acquaintance. He's not.
He's a
not like a
work-
bar buddy.
He's a I like that analogy. That's a great analogy. Landon, do you have any good examples of bad re-releases in the form
You
of
would
remakes?
ask me this
I
question,
want to
wouldn't
know.
you?
I want to know if you have experience with my. I don't get to really hear you
I
talk
have a
about this.
list.
Wow, I did not even come that prepared.
I have a smaller
let's.
list. I glanced at Jack's and his is way longer than mine.
I don't have a list, so let's just do this.
Lennon is pulling a game from his collection.
Oh,
He is searching.
Did he
He's
set
looking.
something up?
He's looking.
I absolutely did not set anything up. We're just doing this.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Well, we're just gonna move on while he's looking for
Sure.
that. Hey, let's bring up another Sonic game. Why not?
You know what? We're already on it.
One that I see, and now I looked up, just to kind of prepare myself at least a little bit for this podcast. I looked up like what people considered to be some of the worst remakes and remasters, because a lot of them I don't have a ton of experience with. I usually go out of my way to avoid the bad versions of games. Like if
Yeah,
I
me
find
too.
like if a remake or a remaster or a port comes out and people say it's shit, then I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to play the original if I ever want to play it, you know?
True.
But the very first thing that I wrote down on my list without even having to look it up was Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Which, while it does some good and some bad, but it is like one of the most classic examples of what people consider a bad. I'm not going to use the word remake because it's not a remake. A remaster, technically
a remaster. It's like a halfsies between a remaster and a port.
Yeah, and
downgrade.
It is a downgrade in many respects.
It is,
yes.
In many respects, yes, it is a downgrade. Especially when you consider the PS3 360 / Steam release for Sonic Adventure DX, which is like the most readily available version of SA1 out there. Only exists in 4.3. It is it is pillow boxed by fucking default. You have big blue bars on the side with a full screen display in the middle. There's mods that make it widescreen with like absolutely zero effort. I mean, the better SADX mod is pretty much like the.
They don't even have like designs on the bars either. It's just like solid color.
It's like blue. They might have like.
Is it like
Sonic,
is it like just like a subtle gradient effect of sorts? Like
kinda, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't remember. I don't really remember it being anything special. But anyway, it's. I don't know. There's a lot of things. There's like more glitches. The audio mixing is worse. There's like the frame rate is better, but at the cost of like a lot of other technical issues that the game has.
I don't complain too much about Sonic Adventure DX, but I will say that after playing both versions, I did notice that the lighting in particular doesn't really work with all that well in DX. Like there's an atmospheric lighting that actually like makes like the world look like it's like cohesive and like put together in the original game. And then because of the lighting and then like the character model updates that I like the character models by themselves, but they don't blend with the lighting changes, and it doesn't look. There's something off.
Everything's too bright and shiny.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which is unfortunately like a very, very like a very common method to like sprucing up an old game and putting it on a modern console is to just make it brighter.
Make it brighter and shinier.
That'll work.
Literally.
And now there are some cases where that actually does work. Like there are some people who disagree, but I think the Wind Waker HD looks fantastic. Whoa. And making everything brighter I thought it was a good thing. I think that game looks amazing. But we're not here to talk about that game. That's a good remake / remaster. We're here to talk about the bad ones. Lennon, did you find something when you were looking in on your
I'm
shelf?
changing my answer really quick because
Okay.
you said words there, and so now we're going to talk about this guy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Just kidding.
Okay.
I'm going to put it away.
I have one I'd like to talk
It's a
about
good
next,
game.
unless Jack, you have something that's still topical since we're on Sonic. But if you're not, I
That
have
was pretty.
something.
I
I
think that
have
was all I
something.
had for Sonic. Yeah.
So one thing that came up, you ended up. I didn't play this personally, but I do have experience researching it after I had shown interest in it. And you mentioned like the way that they changed the visuals up, and a lot of these for the worse. One re-release that this happens with that I was gonna get, and then I learned that I shouldn't, was the Silent Hill HD collection on
Yeah.
PS3. I had shown interest in getting it. And I think I remember Landon specifically was like, "Oof," and I was like, "Oof," and then I
Don't do it,
like
man.
I looked into it, and I was like, "Good thing you said oof," because
Yeah.
the visuals in Silent Hill HD collection, and it's not just the visuals, but like like it's supposed to be an up-resed, shinier port of the PS2 games. They don't look very much any better than they did on the PS2, first of all. The games actually have slowdown and like they run not very good at points, but they also like remove a lot of the atmospheric lighting and just different like graphical assets from the originals that made them what they were on the PS2. It's like when you have a horror game and you're supposed to be spooked out because of certain visual stimulants, and that's not in the HD collection because they fucked it up. It's like that's yeah, so like
The
I'm glad I didn't buy it because when I looked into that I was like never mind. And I looked and like
that is
watched footage and I was like, this is rough."
that is one of the most famous like bad ports I've ever seen. It's like Silent Hill 2 when it originally came out. Obviously anyone who's ever played it knows that it's loaded with fog. It's a very foggy game. Silent Hill games are kind of like that. Now, it does add to the atmosphere a shit ton, and it is one of the things that makes the original game so special. But the real reason that it was implemented at all is because it masks the fact that the game has
Yes.
very poor draw distance in a smart way. In a
Yeah.
smart way, I will say, like it makes up for like a visual.
They
What's the
use
word I'm looking for?
they use
They
a graphical technique to help mask performance problems to help
yeah,
add to the atmosphere of the game. So
yeah, absolutely,
they enhance the game by overcoming the shortcomings of the hardware.
yeah, definitely.
And the
Um,
PS3
they took the fog out.
it,
It's way less foggy than the original, and everyone hates it for that reason. Like, I'm sure the rest of the game plays perfectly fine, and there's nothing technically wrong with it, just from a gameplay perspective. But they took the fog out, and it sucks. And
uh
it's another example of them just like making everything too bright,
I
and
it's kind of like
just
it's kind of hard to explain whether or not this isn't really a port. I guess it's a port, but one game that I do think about when we talk about this sort of thing is actually the at least originally when it first came out. I think they might have updated it to make it better. But the Nintendo Switch Online release for Zelda Ocarina of Time, because of the N64 emulation that they used, like it had problems rendering that foggy effect. And that was used in Ocarina of Time. And not only is the N64 emulation just not great at like rendering the controls, Jack, you talked about this when you were playing Banjo Kazooie through NSO and how much of an issue the swimming specifically was in that version of the game. But
it
because
could
of
have been
the
shit in the original too. I
yeah,
just it's been a long time since I played it.
but like the just the NSO emulation just did not do justice to Ocarina of Time, a game that Landon already does not care for.
It's true. Fuck the
Yep,
original version.
Like I said,
yep.
I think they did update it later on with the NSO N64 app, so like it's better, thankfully. Uh, that does happen to a few games that I actually wanted to bring up tonight. That like they launched in a really bad state and then got a little bit better over time. But yeah,
Speaking of Zelda, I see a lot of people bring up. I have not done a full playthrough.
This
In
game.
fact, no, not that one. Put that one away.
No.
Um,
Bad port.
yeah.
yeah.
Tell us why, Landon. Tell us why the Switch version of Breath of the Wild is a bad port.
And that's my answer. How's that?
Okay. All right. Yeah, fair enough. Um,
You're talking about
I
Zelda.
see a lot of people. I see a lot of people bring up Majora's Mask 3D when talking about bad remakes and remasters.
I don't understand that. I've
I-
also heard that. I don't get it.
I was
I've
reading quite a few comments on that.
And I did looked into it a little bit, and most of the reasoning that I see for it is that they kind of nerfed the movement for some of the mask transformations. Like the Deku Scrub gets fewer bounces on the water when you're when you bounce, and like the Zora has more stiff swimming controls, which is odd. But I don't remember seeing like too much else. Oh yeah, apparently the boss fights, they add like big like hit me here lights to each of them to like make
It more obvious.
combat, like to make the weaknesses more obvious, but also just to kind of make combat a little bit less exciting, I guess. But again, I'm this is pure speculation. I've just kind of reading what other people have said about it. I've only played the original version of Majora's Mask.
I think Majora's Mask 3D is a perfectly fine version of it, and I prefer it honestly over the original. And I love.
Have you played it?
Yeah, I played
Like the full
versions.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done yes, for Majora's Mask 3DS, I did play through the whole thing. I didn't quite get all the way through Ocarina of Time 3D.
Okay.
But yeah. No, I think it's great. I feel like they do a great job adapting it to the console as well, like giving you more ways to save the game, because that's a huge part of like the original Majora's Mask is like you can reset time to save the game, and that's it.
Yeah,
Whereas
true.
in Majora's Mask 3D, you have like a quick save option at any owl statue, which is littered across the entire like the world map. So you can like actually save the game, and you can do more of a pick up and play type playing with it. So I like it. I think it plays fine. Especially considering it's going onto a 3DS console, and as opposed to like a home system. So it like definitely plays towards supportability. Those people can fuck themselves.
Speaking of 3DS remakes though, and this is another like common opinion I've seen. I've not played the remakes of these two games, but it's a common opinion I've seen among fans of the series that the remakes of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story are not good.
I want to hear what these people are saying, because like I tried to do a little bit of surface research and like I didn't check like what fans were saying, but
a lot of what I see
I was
is
hearing reception was fine? Question mark.
a lot of what I see is like it runs on the Mario and Luigi Dream Team engine, and the game runs at a halved frame rate. The original was 60, the remake is 30, and still has frame drops while playing, which is
that is
like,
a problem in
okay.
a game where there's reaction based timing.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as long as the frame rate like is consistent in something like the Thousand Year Door remake for the Switch. Like, the frame rate in that game is only 30 compared to the original, which was 60, but it still runs buttery smooth. And at a certain point, I stopped noticing that the frame rate was even different. But yeah, no, I don't think it's necessarily anything that the games are doing like especially wrong. It's just that there wasn't really like a good reason to remake them at all. I
Especially,
mean,
I'll say especially Bowser's Inside Story. Like, I mean, at least with Superstar Saga, okay, fine. It was originally a Game Boy Advance game. You can't play Game Boy Advance games on the 3DS except for the 10 Ambassador titles that Ambassadors got. And Superstar Saga
honestly
I
would
don't
have been
remember.
better if they just made a collection, you
Yeah,
know?
but
Just
like,
made a
yeah,
just made a trilogy of fucking Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Bowser's Inside Story, and slap that shit on the 3DS, and you're good to go. People would have loved that.
and Bowser's Inside Story already being a DS game that you could just play on 3DS was kind of like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
making a 3DS remake was kind of pointless there.
And I think it's important to note that a bad remake or a bad remaster or a bad port does not necessarily mean that the game itself is bad.
Yeah,
It's just, I would say, in my opinion, a bad remake or remaster is one that is just like a straight downgrade from the original. Like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like every aspect of the game is worse, but if there's like one major aspect to the game that's worse, then I would say there's no reason to play it over the original, and that alone makes it a bad remake or remaster.
yeah. No, I agree. I actually have a game I want to bring up next because as much as I enjoy owning it and have tried it, like there's a very clear reason why I've not actually played more of it, and that is the DS remake of Diddy Kong Racing. So Diddy Kong Racing, have you played both versions, Jack?
I have. It's been a very long time since I played DS though, so I
I
can't really speak from recent experience.
I so
I don't
the
remember it being bad though.
it's not bad, but the problem is because so there's two major things. One, and this is like the number one thing, is that you are playing, and I we talked about this on a previous podcast with a different game, and it's DS remake, a 3D game with a D-pad. And
Yeah.
so Diddy Kong Racing, for those who don't know, has airplanes as a vehicle, and they take up a decent chunk of gameplay. And controlling those with the D-pad, I'm not going to mince words. It's shit. The airplane controls are a strict downgrade in every sense of the word over the 64 version. Like there's just no two ways about it. Trying to pilot the plane is horrible. On top of that, they also replaced the silver coin challenges, where like you have to collect the N64 coins, with like this new like balloon popping thing, and it's like I could not get into it, man. Like I tried to do the little balloon popping mini game challenges, and like every time I got to them, I was just like, "All right, here's another one of these. Just let's get it over with." And like I have it. I remember just every time I had to play a level where I had to do the plane as well. I tried to avoid it. Like I did not get very far in the remake just because of the fact that like there's a whole third of the game has been completely ruined. The carts are mostly fine. The carts I haven't had too much problem with. The boat, the physics are a little bit different, so I don't really feel like I'm getting the same controls as the 64. But I can let those pass. But the planes definitely not good. So that is my TED talk on Diddy Kong Racing DS. Hopefully one day we will eventually get a remake. We won't.
I
No,
fucking wish.
that game's dead in the water.
But
How dare you want it?
Jack, do you want to continue on the trend of remakes that have just one specific thing that makes them worse, or Landon maybe perhaps?
Oh, let's see. All right. Until Dawn remake. The visuals are straight up worse than the original game. The facial animations. I've not played the Until Dawn remake. I haven't played the original game either, but I watched Landon play it for the Let's Play, and I've seen comparison videos with various cutscenes throughout the game. The facial animations are worse. I don't know how they did it, but it is actually actively a worse game as a result for that alone.
I have heard that people are not too keen on the remake, so like,
and it's like it's
not you just
barely the game is barely a decade old. Like, why did it need to be remade with worse facial animation?
I think
what a
it's
waste.
Funny. I mean, I think it's funny because Sony in particular did this with the PS5. Now, you could argue Nintendo has done it a lot, but the difference is the PS4 sold really well and the Wii U did not. So there's an install base, but like re-releasing PS4 games on PS5 is like remakes or remasters. Days Gone,
Last of
Until
Us,
Dawn, Last of Us, Horizon Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, both Last of Us had it. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima got a PS5 port, but that was also like very new. Stop it, Trader. Very new for the PS4, so it makes sense. Like, just to be like, hey, you can get like you can see like sort of the power difference between them. But even like that's another one where Uncharted 4 got a re-release on PS5.
it did.
Doesn't need one.
It did.
I didn't
does
even
not
hear
need
about
one.
this.
Yeah, Legacy of Thieves collection. So they basically Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy got bundled together as a release. And
this goes back to our previous conversation about like when a game does not need a remaster or port on a newer system because it could already play the original game.
Yeah. I was gonna say, to further add to your point, Landon, not only did the Wii U sell like piss, and Nintendo ported a lot of Wii U games onto the Switch to give people an opportunity to actually play those games for the people that did not have a Wii U. Incorrect people. but
you can't put a Wii U disc in a Switch.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, the Switch is not backwards compatible with the Wii U, and the PS5 can fucking play PS4 games. Why is Sony spending money and wasting resources on fucking remakes and remasters of PS4 games for PS5?
And they literally could have just put these out as updates to the PS4 game. They did not have to re-release them as a whole fucking game either. Like, that's another thing. It's like you have a model where you can just put an update for the game that's already out and visually upgrade it. You don't have to make a whole new one.
I will be fully transparent, though. Nintendo is kind of doing the same shit with Switch games on Switch too.
Oh yeah.
Which is, also a problem. But still, I just don't get it.
Well, are they doing like straight up Switch Switch One games that they released a decade ago and then selling them for?
But here's the thing: at least on the Switch 2,
I was gonna say,
they are releasing a version. They are releasing Switch 2 Edition, which means you can still play it on the previous hardware. So it's still kind of just packaging in the upgrade. Whereas with the Sony ones on the PS5, they're giving you a PS5 disc, which will not work on the PS4 with the PS5 with this PS5 game that is literally just a PS4 game.
So you can play the Switch 2 versions of like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 1.
It just loads up just loads up the Switch 1 copy.
That makes it slightly less bad because at the very least they're like adding new content to some extent with these games.
A lot of them you can't access that content unless you're playing it on this playing it on a Switch 2. So like if you put Kirby into a Switch 1, you don't get access to Star Across World.
Right. Okay.
So like what Sony's been doing with their PS5 remasters is if Nintendo was releasing these Switch 2 editions, but they were just Switch 2 exclusive games that did not work on the Switch 1. Like that is basically effectively what Sony's doing with the PS5 versions of their games. It's
Al, oh,
oh
sorry
wow.
to
No, go
I didn't
ahead.
mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Al brings up a good one in the chat. The Metal Gear Solid 1 remake on GameCube, Twin Snakes, is a pretty fun remake, but it, like he said, it changes the cutscenes to make them more like goofy and actiony, and it has the Metal Gear Solid 2 mechanics, which makes it a hell of a lot easier than the original.
I was gonna say
And a lot of people did not like it for that reason.
yeah, that one's called Twin Snakes, right? I've heard that it's
Yeah.
not quite it just like it kind of ruins like the MGS1 experience by like making it like MGS2 but more like MGS like 1.9 rather than like MGS1 remade where it doesn't feel like it's the same game. I have heard that. And sometimes like
Yeah.
we said at the beginning, like sometimes if the game can still be good, but if it like ruins the it ruins the original game's like vision, that can still be considered bad as a remake.
That is, yeah, I agree with that.
So
That's something. I don't think this is a bad game, and I'm currently playing it, but I feel like it could have easily been botched. The Trails in the Sky first chapter remake. I feel like Falcom could have easily just been like, and we're gonna change all this shit. Or it could have just lost that the the spark and idea of the original game. They could have easily like lost that when they released the game. But
But you've been
thankfully,
enjoying it so far.
I have been enjoying it so far. Even with like they do change the combat mostly, because they're using the newer combat from the Daybreak 1 and 2, where you have more action RPG stuff going on. So I could see like some people not enjoying that, but you can switch into tactical gameplay at any point and jump into it. Uh, that's very, very close to like the original games. There's like the biggest thing I would say I don't care for is in the turn order now, buffs that can randomly happen follow the character. So like if you like S break in like and push someone down, it looks like everything is like just goes with that character. So, like, you can't, like, remove a, like,
oh,
you
you
can't
can't
steal a
like
critical from an enemy to, like, make sure they don't crit you.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because that's like a very
yeah,
important part of the turn order system of the original game is being able to like adjust the turn order with different moves in order to like push people out of having a certain buff on a certain turn. So like that's not a thing in the remake.
from what I can tell, no. But if you cast an art on a turn, that does carry with you to the turn, like, you use the art. So if, like, you like, on your turn, you, like, have a crit, and then you decide, "Oh, but I wanna, like, summon like, I wanna use, like, magic." What happens is that just follows you to when you actually like use the magic, because before it would just be wasted, like
Oh,
it would just
okay.
go away. So like there's that advantage, but then also they add a stun feature to where if you do enough like damage, you can stun an enemy and like they lose a turn. So I think that's like the offset of how like manipulating the turn order like
I
works in this one.
I can see this as being something where like purists of the series might not like this after they've like after like a few years down the road and like there's like retrospective like analysis on the game like I'm sure there's going to be purists that are
Yeah.
going to be like I didn't like that, but
This
it
is
is a
that
new release, so
it is
giving its time.
it's a sticking point. But most people love this game. It like has a stupid high Metacritic, stupid high like Steam user review. As far as like yeah, user base goes. So like most people like this game. It's just I'm like looking at it and I'm like, well, where are people going to start hating it
And
next year?
that's probably a very good like
Yeah,
it is really early to tell because this is a long game that just came out a little while, but like if we were to have visited this episode like 2 years from now, I'm sure that that is something that a lot of people are would start bringing up in conversations
yeah.
online. Um
I I'm still very early in. I'm almost at the end of the prologue. But I have been very much enjoying it, and even like the new combat. And I'm not much of like an action like RPG guy. It takes a bit, and it's pretty simple action RPG. But I think the dodge mechanic is mostly forgiving. It's pretty easy to get a perfect dodge. Um, oh, and I guess they did change one other thing is how, at least from my perspective, I haven't played Daybreak 1 or 2, so I don't know how much of this carries over from that, but um the percentage like change to your exp earns, normally if you do like a certain thing multiple times, you will get multiples of those. So like if you get like multiple overkills, that'll add to your percentage, like for each time you get it. It only counts once in this version. So doing multiple overkills doesn't help your like overall like multiplier at the end.
Wow.
But I I feel like things give bigger multipliers than other games, and also there's a lot of newer ways, because if you do like field fights, doing certain things in the field like a perfect dodge or using a craft in the field just gives you a multiplier. And then when you go into tactical, if like they're stunned, when you go into the like the more tactical turn-based fighting, you get like a first attack multiplier. So like they have like a lot of easy ones to get to like balance that out. So there's just like little things in the combat that are a little bit different, but overall I like this. And like graphically, it's surprising how almost one to one things are. There's like a couple things. Like Roland is missing a bracer like one of the bulletin boards. But other than that, like Roland,
Ruined. Perfect fit for the podcast.
yeah,
Can't believe they
exactly. They
forgot
ruined
that.
it. They missed one of those.
I'm sure
Um
there is going to be one person, unironically, some point years down the road, who's going to just be like, they took out content. They took out the
oh,
bulletin
actually,
board.
I've already seen that on social media. I
Really?
was on
Oh my
I think
goodness.
it was like Blue Sky, and I saw a post on that. It was Blue Sky or Twitter.
I hope they were
Um
just shit posting, but they could have also just been
uh
serious. I don't know.
eh.
But
I mean, I think they were just making fun of the fact that it was missing,
yeah.
but yeah.
Uh
Overall, I think
anyway.
it's a good remake, but it's very easy. It's very subjective when it comes to good or bad. Al's playing it right now. He's way further than me because he played the demo all the way to completion, unlike me. So Al, chime in. How are you? What are your thoughts? You should write something.
Um you
I'm going to
guys want to
shift the conversation
Oh,
because we kind of got off track talking about a good remake when the podcast
No, I
topic
was
is.
pointing out things that.
so I want to bring something up. You guys
All right, I'll
want to
shut
talk
up
about
now.
Square Enix games?
Oh
Okay.
God, no.
Because Square Enix, for a good while, they liked to re-release games in bad ways, uh, and two games in particular. The first one, all-time classic, one of the greatest games of all time, Chrono Trigger. We all love the Super Nintendo original that like nobody played. We all love the DS remake that a lot more people played. We all played the PS1 game. The PS1 game that I had to go back and like watch to see like how exactly badly it ran, because that was my first exposure to Chrono Trigger.
It's very bad.
I forgot even just getting into a battle and like having the enemies spawn and then like transitioning to the battle screen, despite the fact that it's literally right there. You don't have to like transition to a new screen entirely. You just have to load the UI. Like the PS1 just like has a little it's just like trying to figure out how to put UI on a screen somehow. And it takes several
It's
seconds just to load that, to load the menu when you go in to like change your equipment and shit like that. Like everything takes several
is bad.
seconds.
It's unfortunate how like not great the PS1 version is.
And it makes me remember just how like because I forgot the Chrono Trigger is a short game, but it felt so much longer because when I was playing the PS1 version, I had all that waiting in between every single time. I think I
Yeah.
I think I probably spent closer to 20 hours on my PS1 file, which is why I remember it so well because there was a lot of waiting. But Chrono Trigger is a game like that. Unfortunately, the bundled in copy of Final Fantasy IV in the exact same collection has the same problems where the battle system it just chugs like ass, and you're waiting forever between people being able to make actions in battle, which is just insane that an SNES game is doing this on a PS1, but it
It's
is.
funny because I mean, I played the emulated version of that through the PlayStation Classic like downloads on the
Yeah.
Vita, but I do remember Final Fantasy 6. I think chugs a little bit too.
Yep. Honestly, all of
Yeah.
those, like they were, and it's funny because those were versions of the games that they continued to sell physical discs for up until like
Yeah.
the early 2020s. They didn't
I was like
stop. They
very
didn't stop.
recently.
They didn't stop selling these games until like a few years ago when they put out the
Yeah.
pixel remasters on other platforms, and they were like, okay, now you can buy this version of the game. Don't buy that other one. But before that, they
We're
were
just gonna remove that.
yeah, yeah, they were just like quietly took that away, but they were still selling those PS1 versions, which are honestly in most cases not great versions of those games.
Yeah.
Pretty much across the board. Uh I mean, if you wanted to play Final Fantasy 1 and 2, you can just play the GBA versions. Those run much better and have the same content or more content. If you're playing Final Fantasy 4, there's so many different versions of Final Fantasy 4 that are good that are not the PS1 release. Final Fantasy 6, unfortunately, was the victim of having several bad versions before we got the Pixel remaster because the iOS release is notorious for being really bad. And I looked into it and I watched gameplay of it and I saw one of the ugliest things I've ever seen happen to a beloved Final Fantasy game. Because have you seen Jack the iOS release of Final Fantasy 6?
I've heard very bad things about it, but I've not seen it.
So not only are the character sprites and the environments and everything like everything is really washed, like they like make everything like really bright, but it's very plain. Like there's not like a whole lot of like gradients to anything. Like it's very solid color for everything, and the sprites feel very generic. But the UI is awful. Like I know that they're trying to do this because it needs to be compatible with iPhone 5 of all things, like as far back as that. Yes, yes, yes. But just the UI, it's incredibly cheaply made. Like honestly, they probably paid some like intern like $20 to slap this UI together. It's got like the most plain font. It's really you could tell it's also probably really hard to just control it too, because you have to put this all on like a 4-inch screen and be able to use touch controls. And it's it's bad. I'm so glad that we don't have to play that game anymore.
It's funny because like the Dragon Quest mobile ports are honestly
I've heard good things. Like
well received
yeah.
as far as like versions. And in fact, Dragon Quest 4 for the DS is awful because they remove party chat for no reason. It's fully translated. It's like Square Enix did the work
And just did not
for
put it
the
in
the
the
original
DS
DS
version.
version, and they just didn't include it.
Yeah.
Like it's in the Japanese version. You can access like a fully translated English like party chat, and they're just like, or like in the US release,
And they
but
did put it in
they
the mobile port.
yeah, yeah, they just enabled it for the mobile port. They're just like, here you go, because otherwise, like the mobile port and the DS version are practically the same. It's
Yeah,
just
I think
refitted for the mobile.
isn't the mobile port more like graphically similar to like the SNES, where it doesn't have like the DS updated like 3D aspects to it? I think that's literally the only real
I
major
think so.
difference. But like
Yeah.
you get everything else in the mobile
Yeah,
ports.
all of
Like
the other like quality of life upgrades from the the DS version is present in
Yeah.
Dragon Quest IV. And like
Somehow,
a lot of them get a lot of good quality of life. Like 1, 2, and 3 all got a ton of quality of life for their like mobile upgrades too.
yeah, sadly the Final Fantasy games did not get good treatment on their mobile ports. I think like I played the mobile port for 1 and that was okay. Like the UI is a little but that's mobile ports. That's just what are you going to do? It's an RPG on a mobile device. Like it's kind of hard to not fuck that up in some way because it's got to be compatible with, touchscreen interface. But like Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6, like both of those games in particular got kind of screwed on iOS. So, yeah. Jack,
Yeah,
I'm glad that you never got to suffer one of your favorite games playing the iOS port. But
fuck no.
did you have something you wanted to add and get you back in the conversation?
I'm gonna bring up a game that I think 99% of the entire world population probably never knew about to begin with, but even fans of the series have long since forgotten it just because it was outclassed by a much better remake that came out years later. I'm talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
I was going to ask
Ooh.
if you knew about this because I learned about this doing research for this video and I was like, "Ooh."
I have never played this game, admittedly.
Wow.
This was in a point when Tony Hawk was like just at the lowest. Okay, I wouldn't say lowest possible point. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is the lowest possible point in the series, but like the early to mid 2010s were not kind to the Tony Hawk franchise.
You could say that Tony Hawk was on his downhill jam.
He really was. So Pro Skater HD is, as you would expect from the name, an HD remake of the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Except it's kind of a weird combination of the first 2 games without advertising it as such. See, now in 2020, when they did the Pro Skater 1+2 remake, it was billed as just that. It was full game, full first game, and full second game in the same package, completely remade. And it was phenomenal, but we're not here to talk about that one. We're talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, which was released exclusively on PSN and XBLA. Never had a physical release, by the way.
No wonder I didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
And it also, if I remember correctly, was not a full-priced game. I want to say it launched at like $40.
That's still a lot for a digital locked game in that time period.
Yeah, that is.
I could be
premium price. Honestly,
I could be.
That's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much close to premium price. Like,
don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that price, please. I don't actually know what it launched.
Too late. And Jack said,
"Okay,
quote,
it was $40." Anyway, it could have been like 20. Honestly, I really don't remember. But like everyone hated it. Like it sucks. Like the physics are worse. For some reason it only has. It, like I said earlier, it's like a weird mishmash of the first 2 games, but it has fewer levels than either game individually. Like it takes levels from both, but unless you get the DLC, because apparently this game did have DLC, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels on base game. And also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs from the combined first 2 games.
Only 7 songs, like in total on this soundtrack,
yeah.
you get 7 whole songs.
Yeah. Now, granted, the songs I'm a little more forgiving on because getting the rights back to music is a pain in the ass. They went out of their way to do it for just about every song they could. I think there was 1 or 2 songs that didn't make the cut in Pro Skater 1+2, but unfortunately, they kind of did something similar with the recent 3+4 remake, where there's only like a small handful of songs from 3 and 4, and then the rest of the soundtrack is completely new. I will say this is the formerly only time, currently first time that Jeff Rosenstock was ever in a Tony Hawk game. The extremely obscure side project he did called Pegasus's XL has a song in this game for some reason. And then
Okay.
he also has a song in the 3+4 remake. But it's weird. I don't know why, but
That must have been a
yeah,
weird
no,
call
it's
to like not for that game, but like to have him come back with a different song on a newer Tony Hawk release. Or it's like,
yeah. When previously the only Tony Hawk game he was in one of the worst ones.
yeah,
Not his fault, but you
no,
know, I just think that's funny.
Well,
Um,
it wasn't Pro Skater 5, so
true.
yeah, no, Pro Skater 5 is like almost objectively the worst game in the series. I would argue that if Tony Hawk's Ride and Shred didn't exist, which I think are like damn near unplayable. And just but that's a topic for another day.
Do you have a
have
Um
you
similar?
played?
Do you have a similar game? Oh,
I,
Logan, do you
I
have
was just
something
gonna
to add?
ask him. Have you actually played 3+4 yet?
I have not yet. I still need to buy it, but
Okay.
it's on my list along with Donkey Kong Bonanza
Because I was gonna
for
ask you
Well, at least
because
three
they
plus four isn't that expensive, right? Isn't it like
I don't know what it's priced at
I
right
don't
now.
remember it
I
being full price. I'm pretty sure it's like sub full price.
yeah, it's
I
like
I will bring
$300.
I will bring up 3+4, not because I haven't played it, but I have seen some people, you know, there was a lot of shit that was revealed about the game leading up to its release that got a lot of people thinking, "Oh god, this is going to suck." Mostly because two main things. One, the lack of career mode for 4. Because 4 had a unique career mode compared to the first 3 games, which operated on the standard like 2-minute arcade style timer where you have like a list of like
Objectives.
objectives that you need to clear in that 2-minute span of time. Whereas 4 has still the same objectives, but like instead of being like on the 2-minute timer, it's like a fully like you free roam in whatever level you're currently in, and you talk to people to initiate those objectives. And they're like
Oh, that
loosely,
was like a mode that they
they're like
led that
very, very loosely tied into a story. It's very
it's
loosely,
it's
but
kind of like the
still.
prototype to the Tony Hawk Underground.
Yeah, pretty much. And a lot of people were really upset that they took out career mode for 4. Now, granted, you can adjust the timer in Pro Skater 3+4. So you can, instead of playing it 2 minutes, you can set the timer to an hour if you want and take as much time as you need. But at the same time, all of the objectives are still just like on a list that's given to you instead of like you talk to a person and they give you a specific thing to do. And then the other thing was the soundtrack, and this one I'm kind of forgiving on because God knows there's a lot of songs in 3 and 4. Like it was easier in 1 and 2 when there's only like 25 songs total to get back, but
Yeah.
the combined amount of songs in 3 and 4 is, I want to say, close to 100. Like it's a lot.
On the originals.
Yeah. Um,
How many songs does the new release have?
it's quite a few, but I will say most of them are new. Like
Yeah.
you have maybe 7 or 8 returning
But it's
songs from 3 and 4.
but it's not Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD's 7 songs, right?
I think it might be like around that much. It's somewhere around like 10, 15 if I had
I
to.
think he means for
That's
total songs.
Yeah, I'm saying
Oh,
in
no.
total.
Oh no. Well, the in total the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD has like 14 songs.
Oh, okay.
Which is not a
You did
lot.
not make that clear during the earlier segment, so I wanted to
I apologize. But yeah, 7 songs returning from the original games, and then like 7 or 8 ish. I already closed out of the wiki page for it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get off this topic now before I go on a whole fucking Tony Hawk rant. But yeah, Pro Skater HD is the one I wanted to bring up.
I have a game I'd like to bring up because I did not play it, but I had hand experience watching my friend play it. And this was a pretty big deal at the time. But back in 2015, PC gaming was really on the rise and they started porting a lot of console games to
Oh
PC.
God.
And this did not start off very well. Do you guys remember the fallout that was Batman Arkham Knight on PC?
Yep. Yep.
My
That's a good
Yep.
game on the PlayStation 4.
one of the best Batman games on consoles. They put it out on PC.
Arkham Knight.
In general, do you know how many Batman games there are?
Okay, that's fair. The bar is pretty low on average.
That's
If
the point I'm
you
trying to get. I said
put in
Batman
all
Okay,
games.
okay.
Batman games.
Yes.
He didn't say one of the best Batman Arkham games.
No,
He
I
said
said
one of the best Batman games.
just in general. It's
Jack just doesn't
obviously
like that game because he can't drive cars.
Famously can't drive.
Yeah.
Jack just forgetting that there are games in the Batman franchise outside of Batman Arkham. But-
True.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was highly anticipated because obviously it was a follow up to another, Batman Arkham game. And when they put it out on PC, it ran like fucking shit. And I remember one of my best friends at the time, like he was huge. He's a huge Batman fan all through and through. He had gotten into PC gaming just recently. He had already loved the previous Batman Arkham title. He was like, I'm going to get this game on my new gaming PC. And good lord, was he disappointed. I watched him play it and it was running like shit, and he was just like he was trying to hold it in, I could tell, but he like after like a few play sessions, he was like, they have to fix this game, man. This game's not working well. And the sad thing is when he learned later on, like the console version was perfectly fine. Like the console version was great. They fucked up the PC port, and like that is a running thing with console games getting ported to PC, especially during like the mid 2010s when they were like,
It was awful.
it was awful.
I loved it.
It was awful.
I loved it because fuck it. I don't know if I would say that game ran well. Jack, how many glitches did I run into Batman Arkham Knight?
A lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
comparatively though, like at least you were.
I mean, yes. I could beat the game. That is true. I was able to beat Batman Arkham Knight on the PlayStation 4.
Like my friend was literally getting moments where the game would just crash and he could not like keep the game running for more than a minute. Like it was that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Every horror that people have talked about with that PC port of Arkham Knight, it's true. I watched it.
I did. I fell through the map once or twice.
That was
I
pretty
remember
fun.
I fell through the map at least once. I do remember that. But yes. It's a pretty awful PC port for sure.
Oh yeah. I just
Jack,
had,
your
I had to
thoughts
bring
on the
that up.
Batman Arkham games and the best of the group, Batman Arkham Knight,
Yeah.
and your ability to not be able to drive?
It's not that I can't drive, it's just that I hate it.
Yeah, driving in general.
We did get an hour into this podcast and we have yet to talk about Grand Theft Auto the trilogy.
I was going to
Well,
bring that up at some point. I do
think
have
this
that
is a
one
good
written
point
down.
to stop.
It's the
No.
thing that everybody talks about. I mean, there have been updates to the game since, but like that game, I remember I was working. Now I know, Landon, you worked. Did you do what I did and tried to suggest that people don't buy that game when it came?
Oh no. No, I suggest people to buy everything.
True.
That's
I-
my goal is to make them waste their money.
Fair. I will admit, like when I was working in the electronics department at work and this game had come out, I remember like there were people that were asking me about this game, and like I had to be like, "Are you sure?" Just like if they didn't say anything, they just said this is the game I want, like I would just ring it up because like I'm not gonna. But like if they were asking me about it, I had to be honest. And
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
gonna be
that's
like,
different. I would say that's different. If someone's like just like I want this and like is like
yeah,
throwing it at you
no,
and their money.
no, I'm not going out of my way to like, but like if they're asking me about it, like I would be like, no, I think if you if there's another GTA game that you haven't played yet, you should try that instead. But I would not with this, at least not
Uh,
yet.
Al brings up two things in the comments. One, Yakuza 3 Remastered is notoriously known as
Block is the
Blockuza
three.
3,
Yep.
which is great. And then he also says whenever Bamco ports
Oh
Tales
yeah.
of Symphonia to a new system, it plays worse than the previous versions, which
I've
is
seen stuff about
unfortunate.
I've seen stuff about the most recent ports of Tales of Symphonia, and like I heard, and it's not like there's just like aspects to it where like the performance is just they clearly
It's
were making sure this game was polished and ready to go.
it's funny how like Namco will just shit the bed on some of these. Like they have multiple tales of like remasters that they've been doing. I hope Zillia turns out well because I actually want that one. But what they did Symphonia, they did Vesperia, and then was there another one that they did? I don't know. Al will probably chime in the comments, but like, yeah, it's like wild how like some of them are like really well done ports or like
And then you have Tales of
remakes,
Symphonia.
and then Tales of Symphonia, which I have issues because they didn't even bother bringing the second game, which some people say that is not great, but still, I feel like you had it as part of the the PS3 HD collection. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just put it out on the newer consoles too. But no.
Uh, Jack, did you have
Yes.
another game you want to bring up on your list of amazing?
I have the most amazing list of all. I'm gonna bring up a classic, a true classic.
Oh
We're
yeah, Tales of
talking.
Hearts are and Tales of Innocence are. Yeah, those ones.
Okay. Um, we're talking Pac-Man for the Atari 2600.
Got to get the layups out of the way since we're
Oh
here.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, gotta bring it up. It's like one of the most iconic bad remakes of all time.
You know
I
that
mean,
they
technically,
produced more copies of that game than they had Atari 2600s out in the wild at the time.
that's
They were expecting so many people to buy this version of Pac-Man that it would also increase their install base at the same time, and
that
every existing
Oh,
owner would buy it.
the
that is
other one, Al.
hilarious.
The other one I was thinking of was Tales of Grace's F remastered that they did for like Switch PS4. Anyway, I'm having a conversation with Al right now. Can you guys like?
Oh, sorry. We'll leave. I'll.
All right, thank you. All right, you can continue your conversation. I'm sorry for
Okay,
butting
cool.
in.
Um, I another one that I thought of. A game that has yet to have like a truly great remake, in my opinion, is GoldenEye 007.
Yeah,
Specifically GoldenEye 007 Reloaded, which was I think PS3 360.
yeah.
Um, basically it just turns the game into Call of Duty. It's just like a generic like gray brown first person shooter with like no like actual like no character or like charm to it at all. It's just like, oh, it's Call of Duty. Nice.
It might not be as like groundbreaking or good as the N64 original was for its time, but I'm glad that the Wii got off a little lucky as far as
The Weaver
007 because
the Wii version is not bad.
yeah,
I will say the Wii version is not as bad as the 360 and PS3 versions. Like that one,
it's pretty
pretty
good.
solidly. Like it wasn't amazing, and I would
I
still
played it with
probably
my
pick the
friends.
original.
Yeah, I played it with my friends for an afternoon or two. I remember it wasn't as memorable as the N64 original. I think like the maps just like there was just something about the maps in the original are like there's like a basicness to them that is also effective and like they're memorable because of that. The maps
Yeah.
in the Wii version, they're kind of generic. They're not really anything all that exciting. Uh so to that end, there's just yeah.
Cloud, I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
Because you are a fan of the franchise, a noted fan of the franchise, and
Oh boy.
Biggest fan
I'm
of the
pretty sure you've
franchise.
brought this, huh?
He's the biggest fan of the franchise.
I don't know.
Probably.
I mean, I'm
I
I have an
I feel
idea
like
of
I've
what
heard
he's
you bring it
asking.
up before, and I've heard people say that this game is like the Super Mario 64 DS of its respective franchise. Have you played Ape Escape on the Loose for the PSP?
Yeah,
Oh, here we go.
I talked about that on a recent podcast actually.
Was
I
it the
feel okay.
recent
I was gonna say I
podcast?
feel like I remember you bringing that up.
So
Um,
I was positive about it in that podcast because as a game and as a launch game for our launch games podcast,
that's right. That's what it was in.
I think that it was a solid game. As a remake,
Here we go.
it's not great. It's because it's literally the graphics are pretty much the same except for just like the changed character models. They made it more in line with the Ape Escape 3 and Ape Escape 2 style, which was a little bit more like Mega Man Legends-esque kind of like art style to it. But the problem with it is that because of the lack of controls, because of the lack of extra shoulder buttons and second analog stick, they had to accommodate that. So, like, you only get 3 gadgets, which is fine. It's like at one time instead of 4. That's fine. But because you don't have that second stick, you can't aim the gadget that you use. The gadget now just you use the button for it, which is fine, but like you can't really get it to like aim in the direction that you need it to go. And it's the worst thing is like when you're trying to like hit a monkey that's like swerving around and like you're trying to hit it with the stun club or the monkey net. Like I played it a little bit on my Vita just recently to try to get another feel for it, and like I was having a fun time, but I was definitely taking way longer than I would normally just because I had to like fight with the controls. So I would say like there's a reason that like now that like the original version's been re-released on like PlayStation Network on PS4 and PS5, like if you want to play Ape Escape, just play that version. It's like it's totally fine. You're going to be okay. The game controls great. It's good. You can just play that version. You don't have to play this PSP version. It's no. It was a
Oh
good
my
game
god,
for its time, but no.
that's funny. So in my conversation with Al, that you guys don't need to be here for,
Okay.
he said Grace's remastered was good. But he
Yeah, the
said
dub
Vesperia
issues.
Definitive Edition has issues with the dub where characters will switch voice actors whenever new content from the PS3 version shows up.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's
hilarious.
hilarious.
What the fuck?
It is funny.
What a unique issue.
I
It's like
think
how in
I'm thinking of a
it
game that did something like
it's like how in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity when you play as Eggman and like he has some voice lines that are like ripped from older Sonic games, so it's switching between Mike Pollock and Dean Bristow.
Oh my
That's
god, you know what that
hilarious.
reminds me of? Actually, and I did not put this on the list, and I want to bring this up because even though this is a good game, I think this is a strictly worse version than the original release. Is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories? Rechain of Memories on PS2 and the HD port not nearly as good as the GBA original because of the way that they adapted it to 3D. And Sora is so fucking weirdly voiced in this game because this was literally in the middle of Haley Joel Osment's like puberty.
Puberty.
He had voice lines from Chain of Memories that were taken from Kingdom Hearts 1, which they adapted, and then they
Yeah.
still had his voice lines that they recorded when he was older, and you get this weird mix where Sora's got lines where he's talking he'll have like the fire, thunder, ice dialogue from like Kingdom Hearts 2, but then because the wind magic arrow was only ever in Kingdom Hearts 1, they use his Kingdom Hearts 1 dialogue for the stuff that was only in that game, like arrow, gravity, time magic, stop magic, like all that is taken from Kingdom Hearts 1, and it's so weird if you make a deck that has these different things in it because you get to hear him in both ways. And yeah.
That's great.
And like I said before with this game though, like adapting the sort of gameplay that had into 3D, god, there's just some fights in that game that are just really, really frustrating that don't need to be because of the 3D space that they added. It's not a good game that adapts well to 3D. Like if you want to play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, you really should just play the original game. Chain of Memories adds zero new like really important content. Like there's some new like Keyblade cards that you can obtain, but like you don't need it. It's just fucking it's just like extra cards that you can add to the deck that you could just there's plenty to work with in the base game. You don't need the new content. There's literally no new bosses, there's no new worlds, nothing. So it is absolutely pointless. You don't need it. So I'm glad that dub thing with Vesperia was brought up because it helped me remember yet another game that is
Well,
like
you're welcome. You're welcome. That's my
Yeah.
job, is to
Uh,
have a conversation with Al, and not you guys.
wow.
sure.
Hey,
Um,
he's the most popular gaming stooge. He's
it's true.
Obama's favorite.
It's
So
true.
can you really blame me for wanting to talk to
Obama's favorite.
Obama's favorite?
Uh
Um,
Jack, hit me with one more. I want to hear a really good one that you
okay.
haven't talked about.
This is one that I have not played
Do
or
you have
like
something on
even
the list that you have played? Because I want you to speak from your heart if you got one.
Or
I don't
your
have a heart, sorry.
Oh
from your
damn it!
stomach acid?
It's from your stomach acid from your gut.
Okay. I won't say it's a bad remake slash remaster, but one that I wrote down on here that I have played and haven't brought up yet is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like, they're not bad remakes, but at the same time, I played through Brilliant Diamond once, and that I really felt like that was all I needed. If I'm I've I don't know. I
So
honestly keep forgetting that it exists. Like,
so
and
I
okay, I'll say this. Um, the level of quality for the previous 3 generations that got remade is even Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which a lot of people don't like, is so much higher than in BDSP, because I mean BDSP got outsourced to who was the company that did the
Ilka,
development for it?
the people that operate Pokemon Home, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So like they basically outsourced it to their C team, like not even the B team. Uh and it's like it functions perfectly fine. But I don't know, just something about it just reeks of like a lack of effort, especially compared to
Well,
like Fire Red and Leaf
because
Green, Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
because it was not intended to even exist. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was literally made because Arceus needed to be delayed. They weren't gonna make this game originally, and they were like, shit, this game needs more time. We don't have a November release. And they came out with this.
They threw something together on the quick, on the cheap.
I know that Landon feels I'm probably in the middle on it. Like I think it's a
I
fine game. I actually think that it's a bad remake though, because I would rather just I have more fun even just going back to base Diamond and Pearl. I have just a fine enough time playing that over the remakes. The remakes do
yeah.
update all of the mechanics and it plays a lot faster and it but like the just as far as content goes, as far as just like updating like visuals and everything, like with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, yes, it doesn't have the stuff that Emerald has, but you get an extra post game story. You get all this extra content in the way of like all like the Hoopa rings and like being able to go after legendaries. And there's like all of those extra rematches. You get rematches in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but outside of those rematches in the post game, there's like not really much new. So like I don't feel like the content that's added is making you miss the originals. And I think that's like when I play Fire Red and Leaf Green, I feel like that I'm playing an objectively better game and I'm not missing the original. Heart Soul Silver. I mean, I can take it or leave either one, but like I have so much more fun with Heart Soul Silver because of everything it has. I don't feel like I have to play the original. Even Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, like Emerald's my favorite of all of them, but like I can play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and not feel like I'm just missing playing the original. Like when I play BDSB, there are at times where I'm just like, I could be playing just Diamond and Pearl, but like I'm not saying that like I'm not enjoying Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But I do like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I feel like it falls under the category of like, it's not, like I said earlier in the podcast, a bad remake or remaster does not necessarily mean that the game itself is bad. The game itself can even be good. But I would say that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are bad remakes.
I am just very different because
He's
one,
built different.
I'm built different. I never played Platinum, so I don't give a shit that Platinum's not even in the equation. Fuck it. That game doesn't exist.
And I didn't
Two,
even compare them.
yeah. Two, but I like a
To be
lot of
fair.
people do compare, like, why isn't there Platinum content? It should just be Platinum. Is what I feel like a lot of people like screamed for years.
And you know what's
before
funny
they
is like
forgot
the only remake out of the 4 that actually added content specifically from its third pillar version was Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yeah, but we hate those games now.
None of the other remakes took their third
Yeah.
pillar as like basis for shit.
We hate those games. Just remember, we hate Gen 2 now because we're the internet.
Yeah, true.
And the internet hates anything Gen 2 related. Just ask the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I never played Platinum, so I don't care that it doesn't have content that it's not set up to have. Two, it was my first Nuzlocke, so that's
Soft spot.
it's a very soft spot, and that's really it. Like I wasn't like I'm not the biggest fan of Gen 4, but also Gen 4 is like it's fine. I put a lot of hours into like to Diamond back in the day, but it's not like I make it or break it for me.
Yeah.
So it's not the totem of like Pokemon games in my opinion. So
Mhm.
also to your point earlier, Jack, I recently saw a video in my YouTube algorithm that I ignore because I don't really watch YouTube. But it was why Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are the best remakes, and I went, huh.
Yeah, no, there
That's
are
what?
people that are turning around on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and they're just like, yeah, these games are
I've
actually
always
good.
I've always been an Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire truther. I
That
think those
they're
games
the
are
best
good.
remakes. Like
Not the
they're
best remakes.
Well, we'll talk.
That's the claim they're making.
I know.
Our next podcast, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Gen 6. We can talk more about that next episode.
That's
True.
That's just
That's
what,
you know what? That's our lead in for
yeah.
the next podcast.
Spoilers for our next podcast, but yes, I do
spoilers.
enjoy me some Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire now.
Now that several years have been removed from its release, and now you're allowed to like a video game.
No, I mean
or hate a video
honestly,
game.
I liked it at the time. It's just that I didn't really get to reflect on it because when I first played through it, I was playing it intermittently when there was like a bunch of other games that I was also playing. So like I never really got to like do the usual Pokemon tradition that I have of everything else gets pushed aside. I just play Pokemon and that's it. Like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire sadly did not get that treatment from me. But like when I get to put in perspective, like there's actually a lot of there that's good. And you know, maybe in 2035 or 2040, people will come around on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Who knows?
I'm here for it. I'll wait.
All right. I do want to bring up one more game.
All right, one last game.
Because I feel like I feel like I have to, because when I was Googling like what people thought were like the worst remakes and remasters of all time, the answer that I saw more than any other is Warcraft 3 Reforged.
I was seeing that a lot too. I've never seen this game before, never played it, but like almost the entire internet is unanimous. Like this thing sucks.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I found a Reddit thread on like from like the gaming subreddit where someone asked like what is the worst remake of all time, and like the 4 of the top 5 comments are Warcraft 3 Reforged. Like I don't know, I've never played the original Warcraft 3. I've never played Reforged, but from what I gather, it's pretty much just like it was billed as being like a full-on remake, but it kind of ends up being just like kind of a sort of a half and half between being a remake and a remaster, where they don't really change a whole lot gameplay wise, and yet they still take out features, and it's way buggier than the original game as well.
And it's not just users too, because like I was looking at like an article of like Metacritics and like the biggest drops between the original releases and like the remake or re-release. And number one was Devil May Cry HD, by the way. But number two was Warcraft 3 Reforged, which had like a 30-point drop between its original and the remake. And I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
kind of
so
insane.
even critics were also like, this thing sucks. Like,
Yeah, that's
so,
pretty crazy.
yeah.
I felt like I had to bring that up because even though I have no experience with the Warcraft franchise, it's the answer that I saw more than any other, and I feel like we
Due
just kind of have to bring
diligence.
it up. Yeah.
I have one last one.
Oh, you
Okay.
have one?
You know what game's a really bad remake? Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not even a remake.
It's not even a remake, you're right.
But they have
It's
it in the
not
name.
even a
What
remake.
They
the
have
hell?
it in the name. They have it in the name.
What the fuck?
Final
Square
Fantasy
Phoenix?
Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to bring on a whole new discussion of bad remakes, because it's literally not even a remake. That's like Sonic.
Yeah.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Except they're
Parentheses.
marketing and branding it as a remake.
Yep,
Yeah,
That's the
It's
issue.
it's extremely misleading.
it is.
It is. It's like, here, new fans, enjoy Final Fantasy VII, but with an updated engine. Except, no. Just kidding.
No, I'll sound off, since I did play through Final Fantasy VII Remake recently. I enjoy the game. Just spoiler alert. I enjoyed
I'm
the
not saying
game.
it's a bad video game.
No,
I'm just
no,
saying
the
it's
thing
a
is
bad remake.
there are quite a few people that just do not like the game at all. But I will say it's a bad remake because, one, it only remakes the first big part of the game, and it stretches it out to 5 times its size. Two, it completely like slowly but surely just says the plot of the original game is not the plot of this new like
Game.
remake.
This new
No,
game.
yeah, this new game. It's going into a trilogy. We've got 2 of them so far. They are not trying to make this a remake, and they're trying to sell it as a remake. But the characters near the end of the game are literally like making allusions and leaning on the fourth wall of like, oh, we're gonna fight against destiny, and we're gonna do this, and we have to fight against fate, and take a whole like they're all this like cheesy, almost leaning on fanfic kind of dialogue at the end of the game. And they're like basically just saying, oh, the game is not going to play out, the story's not going to play out the same way. They're referencing the original game. You have to know the original game and what happened. Granted, it is a 30-year-old game that like almost everybody and their mom knows the plot of, but still, there's aspects
Not
to
everyone
it.
does.
There's aspects to it now, and with it being 30-year-old game, there is now a bunch of kids that have never played the original game, and they're being sold this game as if it's supposed to be a remake of the original, so you don't have to play the original. And then they're going to
Yeah.
get to these points in the game that they were born after the game even came out, and they're not going to know that they should have played this game first, that Square Enix told them they don't have to play.
Yep,
People that
bad
were born
remake.
after Final Fantasy VII came out are 27 years old,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Well, at most,
Yeah.
they could be.
At most.
They
At
could be
least.
upwards.
No, at least.
At least.
At least. But yeah, that was a nice discussion on bad remakes, remasters, and ports for various reasons. A game can still be good, but still be bad as being this sort of thing, as we've gone over in different in different aspects. You could be a Frogger PS1, you could be a Final Fantasy VII remake, you could be a Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition. You could be a lot of things. Definitive
Or you could
edition,
be
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Trails in the Sky First Chapter remake.
Or you could be Trails of the Sky First Chapter remake. But
Who
let's jump into our section. What you up to, Jack? What you up to? Actually,
Are you
We're
not
not doing-
going to
Are we doing house cleaning?
chill?
I guess I should do that now. I was expecting,
You should
honestly,
chill.
I honestly was expecting this podcast to be shorter and then forgot to do this segment.
That's
there you go.
okay.
So
Time to chill.
yeah, it's time to chill. So we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GamingStooges. And Jack, you just put out our Patreon exclusive for any paid members at Silver Stooge tier or better. Jack, tell them what they won.
You win the greatest content that. Hold on, I'm gonna quote Landon's comment on the Patreon post.
Oh yeah, that's true.
See the video that Landon said was, quote, probably some of the best content produced in 13 plus years I have been a viewer. There you go.
Would you like to
It is
tell?
the Super Mario platformers bracket.
Yes.
We took 32 Mario and some Mario adjacent platformers and put them into a bracket of 32 and had some discussions on who should be the winner.
I think
Man, it
this
was
is our
weird.
best content.
I
in 13
I
years, yeah.
literally told that I read them the video, or not the video, the comment that you posted on the video on the Patreon.
Good.
We've also got a Twitch, twitch.yeah/GamingStooges.
Twitch.yeah.
Where we play all sorts of games. I just recently finished Ape Escape 3 and Metal Gear Solid, the game that Ape Escape 3 is bundled with, not the other way around, obviously. But fantastic game, really great revisiting that game. Still definitely my favorite 3D platformer, despite a few small faults that I have with it. Namely, the floating monkeys in Tomoki City that you have to like stand on a platform, and you go watch the VODs. That was fun. Al knows what I'm talking about. Other than that, though, I loved it. I'm glad I've revisited it. And Spookfest is right around the corner. By the time this goes out to other platforms, I have not have started it yet, but I will be playing Silent Hill, the PS1 classic, on a very real PlayStation.
And I'll be joining for that.
And yeah, Jack will be joining for that. We're going to be doing that together earlier in the evenings. So that way there he'll be able to get my reactions. I know the rough plot of the 4 Silent Hill games that are made by quote unquote Team Silent before they push development to other teams, but I don't know all the small details, and I've never seen this game in action really since I watched my mom play it. So I'm excited.
I am excited for you to just experience just the soundtrack alone is like terrifying.
Yeah.
It's some of the most like haunting shit ever put to CD in a video game.
Yeah. Jack, you just beat Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
I did just last night. I finished Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I had a fun time overall, despite some issues I have with the game. And a lot of those issues come down to it being a Game Boy Advance game that came out in the year 2003. And it's a game that I think could really benefit from having a proper remake.
And not the one that we got on 3DS.
Yes, please.
See,
give me
it comes back around to the podcast topic.
Yeah, give me like a fucking remake with the brothership
engine.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word engine. Jesus. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was still fun. Like there were some frustrating bits just because like some of the attacks are just like, I don't know how they expect you to react to which attack is which in some fights. It's like, it's really fucking hard. But it's I mean, the music was great. There's some really funny moments. It's a good time. And Landon is still in the middle of eating some Tillamook ice cream. What do you got for us, Landon? Is that mint chocolate chip?
He's got Tillamook branded Dragon Quest IV Chapters of the Chosen flavored ice cream.
It's right in there. Take a look.
Yeah,
right in there
it is. Podcast listeners, you're missing out. He's like, there's a whole Dragon Quest game inside of his Tillamook ice cream.
Yeah,
just take our word for it.
Just it's so crazy.
Dozens of hours of fun.
Yeah. So we're in We're in like the second phase of chapter 5 where I'm going after all of the Zethian gear. I got One Piece last stream. I don't know how much we'll get before
Damn, you got One
my
Piece and Luffy's still looking for it.
yeah, he's still looking for it. Listen, it was very easy. I just asked Tomfoolery to talk to the king for me, and instead of telling a joke, Tomfoolery was like, "Hey, no funny business," and the king was like, "Here
I,
you go."
I love how his name is Tomfoolery, but he's also no
It is.
nonsense. That's
It is.
Dragon
Go
Quest
look it
for
up.
you. All right.
Anyway, I'll take 5 weeks off, and then I'll figure out what I'm doing after that.
Yep.
But in those 5 weeks, Landon will be joining me for my Spookfest game, Metroid Zero Mission.
Oh,
He
I
he's
guess.
He's excited. Trust us, podcast listeners.
I'm not even.
He definitely didn't look a little disgusted. Not even a little bit.
Sometimes I wonder.
Sometimes. So yeah, that was our Twitch. Now we got to shout out Al, who's been in our chat with us. He moved up to a Gold
Yeah.
Stooge tier recently.
Yeah.
Gold Stooge tier is $5 a month. You get a special shout out every podcast episode, just like Al. And $3 tier, as we mentioned, not only do you get all that great content, like Jack mentioned, the Mario bracket, but you can vote on all of our polls. Sometimes we do free polls, depending on if we need more answers, more input. But sometimes polls will be like, this is just for the tiered stooges. And this was actually recently this podcast, and the loser of the podcast that we'll do a few episodes down the line. It was decided by our podcast or our Patreon supporters. Now, we have a Discord as well, and this is where you can find us when we are not hooting and hollering about bad video game remasters, remakes, and ports, or streaming on Twitch. You can find us on that Discord server linked in the description down below or to the right or to the, I don't know, it depends on where you're looking and listening to this ad. It depends.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. It's somewhere, but it's always in the description underneath the little blurb that we do for our show notes. So yeah, now with that out of the way, we can do our little catch up section. What you up to, Jack? What you up to?
Hi, I'm Jack, and this is what's in my bag. Wait, wrong segment. So let's see. Last 2 weeks. Tragically, I don't think I've made any progress on Persona 3 Reload. I have tried to find the time, but it's been a busy 2 weeks for me. I'm gonna try and make this quick. Let's see. Bethany and I are still watching through Dragon Ball Z. We are in Cell Saga right now. Android 17 just got his ass slurped up by Cell, and we're a little bit further than that, actually. We're around like episode 160 something, like early 160s, I want to say. We're a decent chunk of the way in. And we are, it's been fun. I've had a blast rewatching it. Like, normally we like have a whole fucking debate on like what we want to watch while we eat dinner, but like for the past like month or two, it's just been like, all right, time for the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, and it's pretty much been nothing but that for that span of time, and it's been nice. It's nice. I've yet to get sick of watching it, honestly.
It's Dragon Ball
How does
Z.
it feel to be a cool kid?
Me? By watching Dragon Ball Z?
A cool kid.
I felt extremely cool when we got to the driver's school episode, which unironically I fucking loved that episode. She loved it too.
Episode.
There are good filler episodes in the original. I think the best filler, in my opinion, is actually like at the Saiyan saga, because all that fleshing out what they do with Gohan and his training and like the Snake Way stuff, none of that shit's in Kai. And I hate, and it's disappointing because that's really good filler that fleshes out the world building in the early arc.
True, I agree. And also, I think like the thing that is like truly missing from Kai is that you lose out on like this like character building with Gohan and Piccolo specifically, who get like this really close relationship. They get this like really close relationship from like training with each other for as long as they do, and it's like something that you completely miss out on if you're watching Kai. And it's like, I wonder why Gohan likes Piccolo so much more now. Oh well. I mean, obviously they trained and they still talk about that, but they just like skip over all of it in Kai, and it's weird.
Yeah.
But at the same
the manga
time,
didn't have that too much either, because it's closer to the manga. But like the filler really makes a lot of the character bonds a lot closer.
so far I've only shown Bethany exactly one scene from Dragon Ball Z Kai, and it was when they got to the point where they introduced the Ginyu Force. I had to show her Ginyu Force rules.
It is
So
objectively
it's so good.
one of the best moments in Kai. That is
It's so fucking good.
undisputably better than the original. It's so
They
good.
give them a fucking theme song. It's great.
It is.
And it's like, oh, God. I forgot how long they build up the Ginyu Force in Original Z. There's like probably a dozen episodes where they talk about how the Ginyu Force is going to come and rock everyone's shit.
Because it's part of the slow grind through the Frieza arc, because they had to try to make sure they didn't overtake the manga while Toriyama was doing
true.
it. So they had to like really stretch it out. So they were like, the Ginyu Force is coming. They're coming.
Yep. They're coming.
But yeah,
but anyway,
enjoying Z. Anything else?
Yeah. Aside from that, I did a lot of shit over the past 2 weeks. On, let's see, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that, on the 13th, one of my close friends, Tristan, ran his not exclusively death metal, but like metal and hardcore fest that he did both last year and this year, and I helped set up. I was running doors all day. I was taking cash from people. It was fun. We ran into some bullshit with the security of the venue.
As one does.
It's I swear to God, the venue we used is like one of the worst fucking venues of all time, and the staff is so fucking stupid. There was a fight that broke out, and people got maced. It was a whole thing.
That's awesome.
It was badass. It was fucking badass, but no, it was so fucking stupid. It was just some dude on a power trip that wanted to like break up. He didn't even work for the venue. It was so dumb. But anyway, 2 days after that, I had a single day off, and 2 days later, I went down to Nashville, Tennessee with my dad. We went to go see, I was lucky enough to get tickets to see Billy Strings and Brian Sutton at the Ryman Auditorium. Billy Strings, if you don't know who he is, huge bluegrass guy, extremely popular right now. The Ryman, very small historic venue. It's over like 130 years old, and it holds maybe 2,000 people. I was lucky enough to actually be selected for the raffle to get tickets for it, and I did. So we went, and it was fantastic. It was a fun, nice night of some good picking and bluegrass music, and it was fun. Stopped at Bucky's on the way back up. Looked for Beaver Mario, couldn't find him. I'm sorry, Landon.
Fuck Bucky's?
What the Bucky's needs to get their shit together, and like
Bucky's and
I
Nintendo.
swear to God, if Nintendo ever announces a collab with Bucky's,
Beaver Mario. Think of all the money you are leaving on the table.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
So you got DBZ,
let's see what else. All the shows, blah blah blah. A few days later, on the 17th, Bethany and I went down to Noblesville, just north of Indianapolis, to see Blink 182. And with them, Alkaline Trio and Drug Church, who are two bands that I also love. And that show was really fun. There was a dude that was 2 seats away from us that was so drunk that he puked on the floor multiple times and got dragged out by security before Blink even started, which was pretty funny.
Badass.
Badass indeed. And then 3 days after that, on this past Saturday, I had been looking at like resale tickets for a sold out show that I thought someone's going to get desperate and put up a really cheap one. But Alkaline Trio, the band I mentioned I saw open for Blink, who I've seen before that, but anyway, they were doing a set at the Metro in Chicago, which is a pretty small, like 1,000 cap GA venue, as part of Riot Fest, because every Riot Fest, huge big punk, metal, rock, etc. festival. And they have like a long series of after shows that they do as well. So on Saturday the 20th, I worked a full 9-hour shift at work, and at during that shift, I like still didn't have the ticket when I went to work that day. I looked on StubHub, saw one that was like just barely over what face value was, and I'm like, all right, I'm going. Fuck it. And then after my 9-hour shift at work, I drove 3.5 hours to Chicago to see a band that I had seen 3 days prior play a set that started at midnight Central Time, which is an hour behind me because I'm on Eastern. I am an insane person, but it was one of the most fun shows I've been to all year, and I have zero regrets. I got home at 6 in the morning.
Nice.
Um, yeah, that was pretty much what I was up to in between work and streaming.
All right.
So yeah.
So last podcast, I got in updates on several games I was playing because I managed to play like 4 different games. Narrowed it down this time. I finished Clair Obscure Expedition 33 recently. I can't spoil anything, but I will say that the plot takes some crazy turns and stuff gets recontextualized. And I had a really great time with the game. I have a few small nitpicks about the game, namely that the difference in difficulty between the easier setting and the normal setting that they recommend is incredibly large. Like either you have some very tough normal enemy encounters on the default setting because if you don't know their attack patterns, they can hit you really hard, or you turn it on the easier setting and they hit you like a wet pool noodle. Whop. So that's my one big gripe about the game is like the 2 difficulty settings have some very wild differences instead of being a little bit more subtle. Sorry, but I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of optional stuff that I engaged with that I thought was really fun. Some of it's story relevant, some of it not. I do want to go back and like do either a new game plus playthrough at the very least. There's like a decision that branches off the ending that I want to do the other thing that I didn't pick for the when I go back and revisit it just to see the differences. But great time with that game. Going to talk more about it when we talk about our year in review. I have been playing more Everybody's Golf Hot Shots on Switch. Uh, I've been having a lot of fun with that. That game is really grindy with the unlocks, so I'm still only at like 18 or so characters out of the 31 that the game has. But I'm getting a lot closer to like getting to points where I'll be able to unlock a bunch of stuff all at once, and it's some of the courses in that game are bullshit. They put a course that was literally the last course of the Vita game in the middle of the course lineup of the new game, and it's hard because it was supposed to be the last course of a previous game, and they put it halfway in this time. So
I
it's fun.
I'm gonna jump in because I was playing a little bit of this prior to Trails coming out. Eileen's Chapter 2 fucking sucks. And I don't know if that course is the same course, but
I
that course kind of
was
sucks.
it Central Hawk?
Maybe I don't.
Okay.
It's been like a week
Because
ish since I played it.
Central Hawk is the one that I was talking about. It's the one that's like based on like New York City, I think. It's like
It might be that.
it's
It was
it's got tons
really
of
bad.
bunkers right around the greens. There's like water
Yep.
hazards all around the greens.
Yeah. So
The
it might
lies of
be that.
the lies of the greens are all really steep. So if you don't hit the ball onto the green just right, it has a good chance of just dropping off the green into some other area. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So I think that might be the same one, and it's a chapter 2 where you have to go up against someone for
It
9 holes.
And it doesn't help that like unless you've grinded Eiley up a bunch with stats, her stats suck at the beginning. So like you're
Yeah,
not gonna have the distance to get to where you need to be.
and it's
Uh,
fucking chapter
yeah.
2.
But it's a fun time. It just you need to grind for a lot of like stat boosting stuff to get your characters, but I'm enjoying it though. It's good old fashioned hot shots. I recently got back to my almost 10-year-old file from my 3DS Virtual Console release of Earthbound. And I am at 4 side now. I have to say, on vibes alone, this might be one of my new favorite Nintendo games. I don't know how highly I'm going to think about it later. I have some small nitpicks about it, mostly that like traveling around is very slow. But other than that, like I just the interactions with all the characters, the story, the overall story structure, it's like I can see a lot of inspiration from the early Pokemon games that was taken from Earthbound. Like the way that they structure it. Because, like, Earthbound has this whole, like, you go to 8 designated locations to collect things, and they all have bosses guarding them. Wow. I wonder where I heard that before. Gym leaders and badges. Wow. It's the same thing.
Al
Uh,
says he heard that game stinks.
he heard that game stinks. They did do a campaign where they said, this game stinks. And that's how
This
they
game
sold Earthbound.
stinks.
You know,
Yep.
I didn't realize how like one of the reasons why Earthbound was not successful. It was $100 or so when it was released because it was released with that campaign and it had like the guidebook with it and like it was expensive. So like not only did you have people like with the impression that Nintendo was like, "Oh, well, they're telling me this game's bad." And then they're also making you buy the book with it because it was packaged in because they wanted to help you out. But like it was also $90 $100. So, but I'm having a blast with it. In retrospect, I have like I did recently downloaded a PDF of like the entire booklet that it came with, so like I get like the authentic experience, so to speak. I one thing I really appreciate about Earthbound that is not talked about a lot. Like everybody talks about the atmosphere and the visuals and everything. One thing that not a lot of people talk about is how well translated this game is in being descriptive about everything you need to know. Like this is a 90s RPG, right? 90s RPGs are not known for their translations helping you know what all of your stuff does. Earthbound does a very good job of telling you this item does this skill does this, and like it doesn't leave anything vague. Like the game literally tells me this rank of this spell does roughly this much damage. Like thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. Like just thank you
Earthbound,
for telling me that.
Earthbound is pretty intuitive like that.
It's really good and I love it. So I'm gonna be playing through more of that. And then one last thing that I wanted to share, not game related. Allison and I recently watched the live action Yu Yu Hakusho. It's only got 1 season right now, but there's supposed to be a second season coming, the Netflix one. It's 5 episodes for the first season. There are things about it that I like, and there's things about it that I don't care for. As far as like the character portrayals, I think everyone was pretty much well done. I liked how all of the characters were portrayed for the most part. You got, Hiei's your edgy, broody guy that doesn't want to let a lot of information out, so he's kind of secretive. Kurama's got, his aspects where like he's protective, but he's got a little bit of stuff that he's hiding from his past life. Kuwabara is a thug and an idiot. Yusuke is played up a little bit more as like a generic hero character in this version than he is in the original. Where like the original story, he was like a delinquent, and he's still a delinquent, but like he's got more of like they make the honor code that he has a lot more explicit and play that up more than his delinquent side in the live action. My biggest problem with the live action is they really wanted to get to Toguro, so they crunched the shit out of this first season. And in 5 45-minute episodes, they tried to condense what was, I think, like 50 episodes of the anime into these 5 episodes. And they do some parts really well, but they like stretched out like the whole part with like the Makai insects that were taking over people's bodies. There's literally like a portion of one 25-minute episode. They made it like a whole 15-minute thing in episode 2. I was like, this was not that detailed in the show. Why? But it was probably like a page of the manga at most, and they like stretched it to 15 episodes of the show. I don't know. Uh, Genkai literally lasts 1 episode. I don't like that because Genkai was awesome. Genkai had like this
Yeah.
whole arc where like Yusuke meets her, trains with her. He goes back to do his own thing. He comes back, does a tournament, and then gets her to join for the following, like the dark tournament, and then gets killed
Yeah.
off like partway in. No, she literally has the training with him. And then after he leaves and gets her power from her after just that one training segment, gets killed off. I was like, what?
Wow.
Like she
They
lasted.
really are trying to condense things.
And the arc with like the castle that they go to, and that's like
Yeah.
got like different floors, completely gone. They do have the aspect of like the rich guys betting on people, but they just took like Team Toguro from the Dark Tournament in this secluded area, put them there, and then had the people do the betting on them. And then they abandon it near the end because Toguro is smashing up the whole place. So everybody pussies out and evacuates. So they just drop that whole thing. And then like the portal to Demon World opening up, that was like a whole thing from the Sensui arc that comes after, gets shoehorned into this as like Tarukane's like big like motivation, and Toguro also like wanting to go to the demon world so he could fight stronger guys, basically. Like they do still have like the whole aspect of Toguro where like he's like, he can't get over the fact that he, didn't protect his all of the people he was like training with. Like they still have the good background with Toguro, but his future
Mm-hmm.
motivation, they just condensed it into what would be the next arc entirely. So
Gross.
I really don't like how they crunched everything down, but there are aspects of the live action that I think are really well done, that like a Dragon Ball Evolution style version, like like parallel timeline, they fucking adapt it like that happened and it would have been awful. Like
Sure.
it's at least not that bad. They really shot themselves in the foot with the condensing. But it was fun watching. I'll still watch the second season when that comes out, because I'm sure that'll probably be a little bit better, because hopefully they don't jump into the Demon World section where like they all just leave for Demon World for that tournament that got rushed in the original. Maybe they'll do a season 3 where they just do that and they can stretch it out a little bit. I don't know. But we'll see.
Probably not.
But it was a fun enough time. So yeah, that was everything I've been up to. Those 3 games and the Yu Yu Hakusho live action.
Neat.
What you been up to, Landon? What you up to?
Uh, what's what you playing, Landon?
Well, I say what you
Hey,
up to
Landon,
because we don't
what you
always
playing?
talk about games. We talk about other stuff. So what you up to
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the trenches.
with
I
babies?
didn't go to sleep till like after midnight last night, and then I woke up
Damn.
at like 5 something. Who knows? I'm asleep right now. Is what I'm saying. Anyway, what's going on? What did I play the previous 2 weeks before Trails in the Sky came out? Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Played a little bit of that. I got back into Balatro a little bit, and
Oh,
then I finished up Mind Over Magnet, which was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And then I gave up on Captain Toad Treasure Tracker because I played through all the DLC except for the last stage, because the last stage is just another Mummy Me Forever, except slightly shorter, but it's like optional achievement is fucking stupid. So I gave it several tries and I'm like, I don't have the time that is required for this.
you're like, you are in your 30s and you're a dad of 2, and this is enough. This
Yeah.
is too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe 5 years ago,
You would
during
have,
COVID,
yeah, you would have like
I would
sat
have been
down
able
and
to
you would
do
have
it.
like tried to like get it done. But
Yeah, but I don't have the time. But yeah. So the biggest thing has been Trails in the Sky the last couple days. I have been very much enjoying that. Soon I will be past the content that the demo has.
Ooh.
I'm still playing. Like I decided especially so I'm playing it on the Switch. I sort of wanted to see like what the Switch 2 large quotes edition has. There's not actually like a Switch 2 like physical edition, but it's a $1 upgrade. So you can get like the visual upgrades for that. So I wanted to like experience like the opening cutscene because I love like the introduction cutscene of Cassius, Estelle, and Joshua. Like the how Estelle just drop kicks Joshua
oh
in
yeah,
the bed. It's fucking great. And that's there in this version in all of its 3D glory. So I love
nice.
it. So I've been enjoying it. I'm just about to the point where spoilers, but also we did a let's play of it, so go watch the let's play of the original. I'm about to do the Josette fight at the
Oh fuck yeah!
at the end of the prologue.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's that. Al's ahead of me, so I don't feel the need to worry about him. Also, I think he watched both let's plays of the original and second chapter, so I think he's fine.
There you go.
Yeah,
Al,
it's
sound
nice to
off.
see a
What
lot of the
version are you
characters.
playing? Because I don't remember which version Al got.
Al got the PS5 version.
Okay,
Yeah, I also got the PS5 version,
but you're
but I'm
playing it
playing
on
my Switch
Switch
version. Yeah, I have
because
both.
for all intents and purposes, that is how you'll have access to even play the game most of the
Yeah,
time.
that'll be the easiest way for me to play the game. I just own both versions because
You
I'm
want to make
crazy.
sure that Falcom knows they need to keep making these games.
I am I am so excited for a second chapter because I love that game. That game
And to be
is
fair,
fantastic.
there was an interview where they all but confirmed there will at least be a remake of the second one.
Yeah,
There,
and much like how the first game has a teaser for the second game in like its original, like they have basically the same teaser at the end of first chapter remake, which is funny, but especially if they decide we're not going to do it, but I think they will. They better. I want to spend money on this. IGN recently made a post and they called him Falcon instead of Falcom.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Of
I'm
course they did.
hoping that was just a typo since N and M are just so close together on a keyboard.
Remember when they reviewed speaking of remakes, like the podcast topic, remember when IGN reviewed the Xenoblade Chronicles remake and they called Ryan and they misspelled Dunban's name too, but I forget. Oh, Duncan. That's right. It was
Duncan.
Duncan and Ryan.
Did
Yeah.
they
Dunban and Ryan.
did they do this multiple times or is it just once in the? Because like if they did it
I think
if they
it was
did it just
once in the
okay, because if they did it just once, then maybe that was just an error. But like if they did it if they did it multiple times, that means that they
Committed to it.
yeah, they committed to it. So like
You know,
that's
speaking
different.
of that, something they pronounce the region for Trails in the Sky as liberal, and I always thought of
liberal
it as liberal.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
it's spelt as too. It's
yeah, but like
Liberal.
every character says it as liberal, and I'm just like, I don't know if I, I don't know, I don't agree with that, but okay,
wait,
it's funny
that's in the game or is that just the
in the
region?
game.
Oh,
No,
Oh,
oh,
what the
no, no.
fuck?
This is the game. The
oh
game.
goodness.
Every single character says liberal, and I'm just like,
You're like
okay,
you could speak your truth, but I'm gonna hold the mine.
yeah, this is like the Rayquaza thing where Nintendo's like,
Yeah.
actually, it's this, and I'm just like, actually, no. I will say, Gung Ho did a pretty good job with the release, and I'm very excited that they have even more languages for this, so more people can like experience it, like
I
at least text wise.
I love how our very first Patreon exclusive was ranking different game companies and like Gung Ho was just like a company that like we didn't know a ton about, but it turned out that they did like a bunch of stuff we knew of and like we just thought the
Yeah,
name was funny and here they are giving us Trails in the Sky first chapter remake.
yeah, being the being the publishers for it in the West. I mean, Falcom is basically doing most of the heavy lifting, because this is like the first time where they can like pretty much do everything.
On their own,
Like a
yeah.
lot of times, like they are just developing for one system, and then whoever their like Western publisher is, like NAS, has like been the one to like do like the Switch release essentially. So it's nice to see them like actively doing it in this case. But yeah, Trails is great. Go buy Trails, and then go buy a copy for your friend. Even if they already have a copy, buy them a second or third copy. Go make a new friend, buy them a copy. And Jack owes everyone in his chat from the other night a copy. So I expect a copy soon. Al should get a second copy.
I will be looking forward to my free copy of Trails first
Yeah.
chapter. Thanks, Jack.
And
Oh yeah,
then
I'm ordering it right now.
Darkest Mustard needs.
I wonder what'll get to the delivery first. If I'll get my copy of Trails, or if Landon will get his analog pocket.
Oh, true.
I think my analog pocket is almost here.
Yeah,
It's almost there. It's so
almost-
close.
I think
It's so close.
You could almost taste
just
it.
a day or two from now, and
Sure, there'll be a big
Wait here.
update on that delivery.
yeah, hopefully by next year I'll have it.
All right, that's a wrap, folks. We're gonna roll our outro as per usual, but until then, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.